I'm currently level 21 in the game, and I've done one run after that, and after getting to level 21, and now I'm afraid. I'm very afraid. I'm Sweeper92, and we're talking about Witchfire. Ooh, Witchfire. Witchfire. Hmm. I've been looking forward to this game for quite a while. This game was announced quite a long while back. I can't remember when, but it was quite a while back. It was announced, and I thought it was going to release as a full game, but it is in early access and it's on the Epic Games Store. It's a roguelite action FPS shooter, or first person shooter. I mean, not first person shooter, first person shooter. And yeah, it's a basic roguelite in that, in some sense. You go on a run, you collect currency. Hopefully, you make it back so that you can spend that currency to make yourself better. And each time you invest in an attribute like health or uh, more currency and better shorter spell cooldown, basic things like that, you gain a level. But I streamed the game for a little over an hour, and I only streamed for a little over an hour because, yeah, if you saw that one, or if you've seen that afterwards, or if you pause this video now and go back or go into my channel and look at the live gameplay there, yeah, I kind of lost my temper. It didn't go that well, and I lost my temper more than a few times. Why? Well, because the game is difficult, and it's really difficult, and it has a weird difficulty system where the game gets more difficult. It gets more difficult each time you level up, and enemies. I don't know if they get stronger. I don't think they get stronger. Maybe they deal more damage, but I don't think so. But they the game gets more things thrown into it. That's, I mean, it getting more difficult with each level. That's okay. I mean, that's okay in a way. But Witchfire does add some more spice to the mix, you could say. Witchfire adds more new enemies, traps, more new traps and events, and even more other things into the game or onto the map that you're running out on. So yeah, that's insane because there's one additional attribute does not equal more damage and easier going. No, it does not. You can't increase your damage with attributes, only survivability, which is fine. That's no issue. But when that survivability is so minuscule with each attribute, it's just insane because to get the points you need to level up, you need to either make it back through a portal, or you need to gain the perk that lets you keep that currency after dying, which is, well, that attribute is, or perk is, random. But adding the new enemies and traps and all that, that's okay as well. But while most roguelike games gets more difficult with each floor or after each boss, and when you lose a run, you get to go back to the hub menu or just a menu, and you get to increase your overall strength, like damage and health and stamina and so on. That makes each run a little bit easier. Witchfire gets harder as you increase your level, but that also means that you might play on the same map for a while before defeating the boss. Because as the more events get added, it gets tougher, and wow, it really gets tough. For example, I've noticed that I got something called a warden on the map all of a sudden, and I didn't understand what that was, but then I understand that when he finds you, he will disappear, and then he spawns about a dozen enemies at the same time, which will hunt you down and try to kill you. This is not fun, and yeah, that's insane. But I have now I have found out that you can actually kill him. So that has made life a bit easier. You can actually kill him at range with a long range weapons, preferably, because that will keep you out of his lantern range. Only if you're in the range of the lantern will he engage you with that. If you're keeping out of his range, then you can just kill him and then you can move on with life, because he will not respawn until the next run, of course. Another thing that sucks is the Calamity Catalyst thing. Honestly, you're better off just clearing the beach first. The first thing you need to do is clear the beach, because that's where the catalyst thing spawns, because if you destroy that, that's much easier than actually killing the stupid enemies that spawn with the Calamity Catalyst thing, because they are insanely powerful. They are tanky, they are strong, they fire ice projectiles that slow you down, and they follow you. They're homing. They're so annoying that I can't believe it. Another time also I got the Calamity thing. My life got reduced to almost, well, it got reduced to 1 hit. So I was just killing the enemies that came at me, because they were not tanky this time, but I died because of 1 hit. I got hit once and I died. That was frustrating on such a high level that it was just insane, because those enemies that were attacking, they also had rockets that fire at you, not precisely homing, but 3 rockets at the same time, small ones that you can barely see, and they were coming, a lot of them. I'm amazed I actually survived so long as I did against them. Anyway, I'm guessing you can if you defeat the boss, you can gain another area, but I'm not sure about that because I have not defeated the boss yet. I only have the first area, but there are 3 areas you can choose from, but only one is unlocked, of course, at the start. And I have only faced the boss once, and he's no joke, let me tell you that, but he doesn't feel unfair. He's a challenge, but it's not an unfair challenge, at least. And that's my initial reaction to him, only facing him once. Let's leave the difficulty of the game out for a bit, for a little while here, and let me talk about the gameplay then, and the other stuff. Gameplay is really solid, the controls are really good, and the game looks really nice. All of these 3 combined makes for really solid and good and fun gameplay. The gunplay, the guns and all that, feels really good, and I love the different weapons I've tried so far, both the look and the feel of them. I've tried a long-range sniper, a short-range long-distance rifle only. It's a rifle, but not a sniper rifle. I've tested the revolver to start with, of course, and also tested a machine gun. Or submachine gun, maybe I should say. It has 60 rounds, so I don't know. I have unlocked one additional weapon that I have not tried yet. It is a very interesting weapon, but I'm not sure I would like it. I mean, I'm sure it would feel nice and feel good to use, but would it be more effective than one of the other weapons I have? I don't know. There are also demonic weapons, which are basically overpowered weapons, but you have very limited ammo. You can only find ammo out in the world in chests. So there's that. But everything in combat feels very well made, and it feels very responsive. Aiming, jumping, ducking, the spells, all that feels very good when engaging the enemy. And as I've progressed, died and gone in again, I feel I've gotten better at engaging the enemy on my conditions, on my own terms, because I pick where I engage from and where to go next, where I can hide, where I can move, and how do I want to engage the enemy. Now, some enemy groups are really close together, so some engagement with the enemy can be very tight. There can be a lot of enemies, because after you engage the enemy, after you're killing 2 or 3 of them, depending on how many there are at the start, the more will spawn. And that's when the things really gets going. that's where things got heat up. But thanks to the solid gameplay, it can be really fun, engaging, and even somewhat exciting, actually. Especially when you actually survive the encounter and don't die because of some overpowered bullshit. Sorry. Let's leave the difficulty. Coming out of a fight without having taken damage, though, that is a really nice feeling. I love that feeling. I love having completed the engagement and then I just look down at my HP and see, oh, nothing lost. Great. And I've noticed that enemies won't go outside of an invisible boundary, which I'm guessing is based on where the enemy group is, where they originate at. So if you have a long range rifle, you can really cheese the enemy by just being right outside the boundary, because they don't get to that, they don't go up to that boundary that often. They keep back, it seems, very often. So like the enemy on the coast, they won't follow you into the small village or even close to that village, so you can engage them from far away and just obliterate them. They will fire on you, so if you will have to duck if they have a line of sight, but yeah, no more than that. I did mention that the game is in early access, but I might as well also mention that the game is about $30, so it is a pretty steep price for a early access game, especially considering its version 0.1, so it's not even halfway through to, it's not even a quarter or a third of the way to version 1.0, so it is very early, but what's there is very solid. Except for some balance issues, I would argue, the game is really solid. I love the gunplay, I love the gameplay, and I keep coming back, even though I'm dying. And cursing. Dying and cursing kind of goes hand in hand with this game. But I don't yell at the game every time I die. It's when I keep making, either I make a stupid mistake that just makes me go angry at myself, or the game has done something that I feel just is way too overpowered. Like with the Calamity Catalyst thing, when the enemies spawn in and they are so overpowered. I use every spell, every weapon, and all that in combination, but they just keep on coming and pressing on and just hammering down my HP, even though I'm drinking health potions and all that. And another thing that I don't like is the attributes. I love the attributes in and of itself, but they feel like they're too weak, especially for the price you're paying. They basically work like Dark Souls and Elden Ring. The more you level up, the more each attribute is gonna cost, no matter where you have spent attributes. Like if you're pressing everything in health, well, the stamina is also gonna cost as much as leveling up the health next time. So yeah, it doesn't. I don't feel like paying 10,000 in those Witchfire currency to gain 4 more HP. And 4 HP can be a lot in some games, but in this game my max health is 127. And one hit from some enemies can take down a quarter or a third of that HP. So yeah, 4 HP is not a lot. It's not even it's a fraction of what the damage the enemy can do to you. Now, some enemies can do more, but that is like the swordsmen who can jump at you. If they land that jump attack on you, yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot. But other than that, well, other than the difficulty and some unfairness that can be balanced out, actually some balance have been made even to the game, as from the stream I did to when I played the day after. So I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that balancing. So yeah, I can recommend the game if you're willing to pay $30 for the game, do it. It's a solid roguelite game, but with a high difficulty. At least to me, it's a high difficulty. You be the judge. I mean, if you feel like it's difficult when you start out, it's not gonna get much easier. Not much easier. You're gonna get better at the game, but the game is not gonna be easier. The game is not gonna get easier, but you're gonna get better at it. Hopefully. I'm Whip92, have a great life and hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye.